So we come to the second history on the welterweight division. So we go November the 1st, 1922. Mickey Walker, the toy bulldog from the US, wins on points against Jack Britton over 15 rounds, points. That was in New York. And then June the 6th, 1923, the New York Commission stripped Mickey Walker for failure to defend against Dave Shade, whom they proclaimed champion. So July 27th, 1923, Jimmy Jones wins on points over Dave Shade. Over 10 rounds in Boston, Massachusetts. That's for the New York title. Then October 11th, 1923, the New York Commission withdrew recognition from Jones after he and Mickey Walker had been disqualified for not trying in their overweight match in Newark 3 days earlier. So June the 2nd, 1924, Mickey Walker wins on points over 10 rounds against Lou Tedler from the US in Philadelphia. Then October the 1st, 1924, Mickey Walker wins by KO over Bobby Barnett from the US in Philadelphia. Then 21st of September 1925, Mickey Walker wins against Dave Shade over 15 rounds on points in New York. Then September the 21st, 1925, Mickey Walker wins on points over Dave Shade over 15 rounds in New York. September the 21st, 1925. Then May the 20th, 1926, Pete Laszlo wins on points over 10 rounds against Mickey Walker in Scranton. July the 9th, 1926, Pete Laszlo wins in the 4th round by disqualification against George Levine from the US in New York. Then June the 3rd, 1927. June the 3rd, 1927, Johnny Dundee wins on points over 15 rounds against Pete Laszlo in New York. June the 13th, 1927, Joe Dundee wins on points over 10 rounds against Billy Draco from the US in Cincinnati. In September 1928, Johnny Dundee was stripped by the NBA for failing to defend against young Jack Thompson, who had been stopped in 2 rounds in an overweight match on August the 30th, 1928, or Jackie Fields. March the 25th, 1929, Jackie Fields wins on points over young Jack Thompson in Chicago, Illinois. Then July the 25th, 1929, Jackie Fields wins by disqualification in the 2nd round against Joe Dundee on points. In Detroit, and I just realised Joe Dundee. It's not Joe. It's Joe Dundee, not Johnny Dundee. So I'm going to go back to June the 3rd. It was Joe Dundee, not Johnny Dundee. He beats Pete Latzo, Joe Dundee, and July the 13th, 1927, was Joe Dundee who beats Billy Draco from the US, 10 rounds on points in Cincinnati, Ohio. Joe Dundee, not Johnny. And then here, July the 5th, 1929, Jackie Fields wins by disqualification against Joe Dundee, not Johnny, Joe, in Detroit, Michigan. That's for the undisputed title. And then we've got May the 9th, 1930, young Jack Thompson wins on points over 15 rounds against Jackie Fields in Detroit, Michigan. Then we've got September the 5th, 1930, Tommy Freeman of the US wins on points over 15 rounds against young Jack Thompson in Cleveland, Ohio. And April the 14th, 1931, young Jack Thompson wins in the 12th round by retirement over Tommy Freeman in Cleveland, Ohio. In October the 23rd, 1931, Lou Broulard from Canada wins on points over 15 rounds against young Jack Thompson in Boston, Massachusetts. Then January 28th, 1932, Jackie Fields wins on points over 10 rounds against Lou Broulard in Chicago, Illinois. In February 22nd, 1933, young Corbett III wins on points over 10 rounds against Jackie Fields in San Francisco. In February 22nd, 1933, young Corbett, same again, wins in third round US wins on points over 10 rounds against Jackie Fields in San Francisco. Let's go back, make sure we got them. So October 23rd, 1931, Lou Broulard from Canada wins on points against young Jack Thompson from Boston, Massachusetts. I'll go back and do this all again. So May the 9th, 1930, young Jack Thompson wins on points against Jackie Fields in Detroit, Michigan. September the 5th, 1930, Tommy Freeman wins on points over 15 rounds against young Jack Thompson in Cleveland, Ohio. April the 14th, 1931, young Jack Thompson wins in the 12th round by retirement against Tommy Freeman in Cleveland, Ohio. Then October 23rd, 1931, Lou Broulard from Canada wins on points over 15 rounds against young Jack Thompson in Boston, Massachusetts. Then January the 28th, 1932, Jackie Fields wins on points over 10 rounds against Lou Broulard from Canada in Chicago, Illinois. Now February 22nd, 1933, young Corbett III from the US wins on points over 10 rounds against Jackie Fields in San Francisco. May 29th, 1933, Jimmy McLarnin of Ireland wins by KO in the first round against young Corbett III in Los Angeles. May 28th, 1934, Barney Ross wins on points over 15 rounds against Jimmy McLarnin in New York. And it gets reversed. September the 17th, 1934, Jimmy McLarnin from Ireland wins on points over Barney Ross in New York. 15 rounds points decision. And have a third one the rubber match for the title. 28th of May 1935, Barney Ross wins on points over 15 rounds against Jimmy McLaren in New York also. So Barney Ross gets the winning light out of that lot. So we got November the 27th, 1936. Barney Ross wins over 15 rounds on points over Izzy Genazzo from the US in New York. Then we got September the 23rd, 1937. Barney Ross wins on points over Gifrano Garcia from Philadelphia in New York, over 15 rounds on points. Then we've got, straight after that, January 1938, the IBU withdrew the recognition from Ross in favour of Felix Walters, who appointed Gustav Eder from Germany. Walters was from Belgium. Gustav Eder was Germany. Over 15 rounds in Brussels on February the 16th, 1938. The IBU agreed to recognise Ross again in the interests of unity. So that was May 1938. Then we got May 31st, 1938. Henry Armstrong steps up and he wins on points over 15 rounds against Barney Armstrong in New York. He ended up doing 3 weight divisions. Henry Armstrong simultaneously holding at the same time. Now November the 25th, 1938. Henry Armstrong wins on points over 15 rounds against Gifrano Garcia in New York. And from there, we got December the 5th. December the 5th here. 1938. Henry Armstrong wins. In the 3rd round, referee stops the fight. In the 3rd round against Al Manfredo from the US in Cleveland, Ohio. Now, January the 10th, 1939. Henry Armstrong wins on points over Baby Arizmendi from Mexico. Wins on points over 10 rounds. That was in Los Angeles. March the 4th, 1939. Henry Armstrong wins in 4th round. Referee stops the fight against Bobby Pacho from the US in Havana, Cuba. March the 16th, 1939. Henry Armstrong wins by KO in the 1st round against Lou Feldman from the US in St. Louis. Armstrong's lightweight title was also at stake. They're both on the line. His welterweight and his lightweight title, defended them. So March the 31st, 1939, Henry Armstrong wins by KO against Davey Day. By KO in the 12th round in New York. May the 24th, 1939. Henry Armstrong wins on points over 15 rounds against Ernie Roderick of England in London, England. October the 9th, 1939, Henry Armstrong wins in the 4th round against Al Manfredo in the 4th round by referee stopping the fight in Des Moines. And then we got October the 13th, 1939, Henry Armstrong wins by KO in the 2nd round against Howard Scott from the US in Minneapolis. October the 20th, 1939, Henry Armstrong wins by 3-round KO against Richie Fontaine from the US in Seattle, Washington. October the 24th, 1939, Henry Armstrong wins on points over 10 rounds against Jimmy Garrison from the US in New York. October the 30th, 1939, Henry Armstrong wins in the 4th round against Bobby Pacho. Referee stopping the fight in Denver, Colorado. December the 11th, 1939, Henry Armstrong wins by KO in the 7th round against Jimmy Garrison. Again, by KO, that was in Cleveland, Ohio. Then we got January the 4th, 1940, Henry Armstrong wins by KO in the 5th round against Joey Ganuli from the US in St. Louis, Missouri. So we got January 24th, 1940. Henry Armstrong wins in the 9th round. Referee stops the fight against Pedro Montañez from Puerto Rico in New York. April the 26th, 1940. Henry Armstrong wins in the 7th round against Paul Jr. from Canada, Boston, Massachusetts. Then May 24th, 1940. Henry Armstrong wins in the 5th round. Referee stops the fight against Ralph Zanelli from the US in Boston, Massachusetts. June 21st, 1940. Henry Armstrong wins in the 3rd round. Referee stops the fight against Paul Jr. in Portland. September 23rd, 1940. Henry Armstrong wins by KO in the 4th round against Phil Furr from the US in Washington, D.C. Then October the 4th, 1940. Fritzy Zivik, the man who Sugar Ray Robinson said he learnt most off by fighting, one of the Zivik brothers, 5 I think there was, wins and points over 12 rounds against Henry Armstrong in New York. Then January 17th, 1941, Fritzy Zivik wins again against Henry Armstrong. Referee stops the fight in New York. And then we got July 21st, 1941, Freddie Red Cochran from the US wins and points over 15 rounds against Fritzy Zivik. 15 rounds point decision, Newark, New Jersey. Then we got February the 1st, 1946, Marty Servo wins in the 4th round by KO against Freddie Red Cochran in New York. September 25th, 1946, Servo retires. So then we got December the 20th, December the 20th, 1946, Sugar Ray Robinson wins by 15 rounds points decision against Tommy Bell. And then we got July 24th, 1947, Sugar Ray Robinson. That's for the vacant title, by the way. Then 24th of June, 1947, Sugar Ray Robinson wins in the 8th round against Jimmy Doyle from the US in Cleveland, Ohio. Then December the 19th, 1947, Sugar Ray Robinson wins in the 6th round. Referee stops the fight against Chuck Taylor from the US in Detroit, Michigan. June the 28th, 1948, Sugar Ray Robinson wins over 15 rounds against Bernard Dukeson from the US on points over 15 rounds in Chicago, Illinois. July the 11th, 1949, Sugar Ray Robinson wins on points over 15 rounds against Kid Gavalian from Cuba. That's in Philadelphia. August the 9th, 1950, Sugar Ray Robinson wins on points over 15 rounds against Charlie Fasari from the US in Jersey City, New Jersey. February the 15th, 1951, Robinson gave up the welterweight title to become middleweight champion. He could become that 5 times over, winning it 5 times. Then we've got March the 14th, 1951. We've got Johnny Bratton. Wins over 15 rounds against Charlie Fasari on points. That was in Jersey City, New Jersey. That's so August the 9th, 1950, Sugar Ray Robinson wins on points over 15 rounds against Charlie Fasari in Jersey City, New Jersey. Then February 15th, 1951, Robinson gave up his welterweight title, just gone for that. He won the middleweight title 5 times. So again, we go March the 14th, 1951. Johnny Bratton wins on points over 15 rounds against Charlie Fasari in Chicago, Illinois. Then we go May the 18th, 1951. Kid Gavalian wins on points over 15 rounds against Johnny Bratton in New York for the undisputed title. August the 29th, 1951. Kid Gavalian wins over 15 rounds on points against Billy Graham in New York. And again, that's a guy who was supposed to have a win over Sugar Ray Robinson in the amateurs. They did say Sugar Ray Robinson's amateur record was unbeaten one, but there's a lot of evidence to support that Billy Graham beat him in the amateurs. He lost twice, I think. But again, so here we go. February the 4th, 1952. Kid Gavalian wins over 15 rounds on points against Bobby Dykes from the US in Miami, Florida. July the 7th, 1952. Kid Gavalian wins in the 11th round. Referee stops the fight against Jill Turner from the US in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Then July... Yeah, so he wins over Jill Turner from the US in 11 rounds there, Kid Gavalian. Then we've got October the 5th, 1952. Kid Gavalian wins on points again, over 15 rounds on points against Billy Graham in Havana. Then February the 11th, 1953. Kid Gavalian wins in the 9th round against Chuck Davey by retirement. Chuck Davey from the US in Chicago, Illinois. September the 18th, 1953, Kid Gavalian wins on points over 15 rounds against Carlos Basilio, the young farmer from the US, and that was in Syracuse, New York. So, November the 13th, 1953, Kid Gavalian wins on points over 15 rounds against Johnny Bratton in Chicago, Illinois. Then October the 20th, 1954, Johnny Saxton from the US wins over 15 rounds on points against Kid Gavalian in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. April the 1st, 1955. Tony DeMarco wins in the 14th round. Referee stops the fight against Johnny Saxton in Boston, Massachusetts. Then June the 10th, 1955. Carmen Basilio wins by 12 rounds. Referee stops the fight against Tony DeMarco in Syracuse. And then October the 20th, 1954, Johnny Saxton, we've done that. June the 10th, 1955, Carmen Basilio wins in the 12th round against Tony DeMarco. Syracuse, that was June 10th, 1955. November the 30th, 1955, Carmen Basilio wins in 12th round again against Tony DeMarco, this time in Boston, Massachusetts. Referee stopping the fight this time. Then we've got March 14th, 1956. Johnny Saxton wins over 15 rounds against Carmen Basilio in Chicago, Illinois. September the 12th, 1956, Carmen Basilio wins in the 9th round against Johnny Saxton. Referee stopping the fight against Syracuse. And then we go February 22nd, 1957, Carmen Basilio wins in the 2nd round by KO against Johnny Saxton in Cleveland, Ohio. September 1957, Basilio relinquishes the title and goes up to middleweight. He'll beat the likes of Sugar Ray Robinson up there.